Alright guys, we have a very special Sunday roundup this week. Start off with a quick story. Usually when I talk to collector friends about shopping at thrift shops and Goodwill, I always give examples of what games you can find. And usually my big deal for the game I found there was Diablo on the PS1 for just $3. Face value, the game sells for around 50, so there's a bit of financial gain there, but also the game's very hard to come by. And I like it. I like Diablo, so I thought that was a great find. Whenever I tell people about those Goodwill stories, I always include that game. Well, that's probably going to change this week because I found a fantastic deal at Goodwill here in Sunnyvale, California. And all these games for the Gamecube and the one PC game, all the Gamecube games were $6, and we'll start off with the game that I was talking about. It's going to change my Goodwill stories, and that's the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition here for the Cube. This game is a collection of Zelda 1 for the NES, Zelda 2, then Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask on the N64. And it includes a playable demo of Wind Waker. Now, the game came out originally when Wind Waker was releasing, and around the time, the only way to get this disc was if you, I want to say either you bought a GameCube that came specially packaged with this game, or you resubscribed to Nintendo Power at a specific time. I think it was like November, December time. And at the time, I already had a GameCube, and I already pre-ordered Wind Waker, so I wasn't going to be getting it anyways, and I already had a full subscription to Nintendo Power, so I couldn't get it. And ever since then, it's been on my radar for a game to buy. And you can see it online all the time, 50, 60 bucks, or at stores for around the same price. So to find it in such good condition for just $6 really blew my mind. This is a fantastic find. When I saw the game sitting behind the counter, I could feel my heart start to race. It was crazy. It's kind of the moment that collectors kind of dream of, finding that rare gem out in the wild. So that was really cool. But like I said, there was other games there that I bought. A few were copies, which we'll get to, but the only other GameCube game I bought that I didn't have was product number 3. And it's a Capcom game that I remember seeing a lot because I think it was promoted in Nintendo Power quite frequently. And it's a GameCube exclusive action game. You play as this girl. She has some sort of bionic suit that helps her out doing whatever it is she does. I don't quite know. But I've been looking for it, and I find it every now and then, but it's usually a bit higher price than I want, so I finally got it now. Very happy. I'm actually thinking I might try to play it because it could be a good game. Might sneak up on you. The only PC game I got at Goodwill was Black and White 2. It was $10. It wasn't a really great deal because usually that's how much you find it for anyways, but this is by Lionhead Studios. It's created by Peter Molyneux, the guy that did Fable. So if you know those games, this is the one game he made before the first Fable. And the idea is kind of the same as those. It's a God creator game, this one is, so you create the world and the people in it, and they shape how you act. So if your minions, creator, or little humans, whatever, worship you more, you do more damage, you're more powerful, yada yada, and you have to battle other gods. So, like I said, I also got some other GameCube games that I already had, but they were too good of a deal to pass up. Again, they're all $6 each, and complete. So I picked up Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Fantastic game. I remember getting it when the GameCube came out, and this game came out. It's one of the, I think it is the first Nintendo released game, released by Nintendo that's rated M, and it's kind of like a Resident Evil. It's a survival horror game, but there's a sanity thing that runs through it, so your character can go insane if you take too much damage, and they sort of break the fourth wall. Like your TV will start to flick upside down, the sound will turn off, and then the most infamous one is that the game says your memory card is being erased. So there's that for you. Couldn't pass it up. For that price, a great deal. And if you haven't played it, you really should think about getting a GameCube and trying to find it. I heard recently that they're actually thinking about making a spiritual successor to it, so maybe this one will be coming back as an HD version. Probably not the greatest deal for this one, but I picked up Soul Calibur 2 again on the GameCube. I already have it, like I said. The special feature for this one is that you can play as Link. For the PS2 version, you could play as Heihachi from Tekken, and the Xbox version you can play as Spawn. In my opinion, clearly the best one is the GameCube because Link is the coolest character, but the best version is the PS2 just because of the controller. Regardless, good game. Maybe not as good as the first, but I think it's better than the third, so I'd pick Soul Calibur 2 pretty easily. Speaking of Resident Evil, I got Resident Evil 1 again for the Cube. This is the remake of the first game, much better in my opinion than the first game, just because the graphics are better. They tweaked kind of the controls, other aspects of the game, so it's a better version. There are I think every Resident Evil is actually on the Cube, so if you can find 0, you can also get 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, and 4, so you can find all of them, and that's kind of neat that they're only all available like that on the Cube. Keeping the Zelda train going, I actually found a copy of Wind Waker as well. It was about the time I saw all these games that I think the person that traded these in was either a collector that just said one day, you know what, I'm done, or someone that pretty much bought Nintendo games solely, because this collection that they have here was just phenomenal, and I think they knew what they were buying, because Zelda is such a good series, and they have the 2 games for it, along with a lot of other quality Nintendo games, so there's that for you. Regardless, Wind Waker is coming out as an HD version on the Wii U, so you can see that soon. Another good solid game, Kirby Air Ride for the Gamecube. I think it was supposed to be a Wii game or something like that, but they released it on the Cube. Not sure if that's entirely true, but this one's the greatest hits, player's choice on Nintendo. That's okay. You play as Kirby, it's a lighthearted racing game. I actually played it before, it didn't really blow my mind, but Kirby's a pretty hot seller, people like it, so it should be pretty cool. And then the only PS2 game I got also wasn't that great of a deal, but I still picked it up, Shadow of the Colossus. I think this one was $6 as well. Classic game, got remade, really good. It wasn't quite the game for me, but I know it's very artistic, it looks beautiful, and you kind of run around, you have to kill, what, 12 colossi or something like that, and they're really massive, and the scope and scale of the game is really what sells it to you, so if you like artistic games that are very different from anything else, then this is definitely for you. It's by Team Eco, so they made that game too, and they have some other games that are still coming out. It's a PlayStation exclusive company. So that is the Goodwill find for this week. I was so happy, I'll definitely be going back. And if you have any reason to think you're not going to go to Goodwill, let this video show you that there are plenty of reasons for game lovers and buyers and collectors to go there and find good deals.